Welcome to the reading of Notes from the Field. I'm having a really good time doing this and loving all of the reactions and responses. This is the fourth time I've read my newsletter to you. It comes out every Sunday, Notes from the Field. We'll have a conversation another time about what the field is. This is the Year of the Body, week 47. The Year of the Body is coming to a completion, in which we let go of the life we thought we wanted and enter the birth canal into the life we really want. I called this newsletter, You're Not Exhausted, You're Being Birthed. Because you're not exhausted. I mean, you are. You feel utterly exhausted. I don't think I've been this tired since I actually did give birth 32 years ago. And I thought it was me. I thought this was some strange, weird thing happening to me. But when I began to share it through this newsletter, through conversations at the Lotus and Lily private Facebook group, through responses to this blog being posted on my professional page, I'm hearing from a lot of people, that this is not a unique experience to Janet. And so I'm very grateful that I listened to my gut saying, I think the newsletter should be about, you're not exhausted, you're being birthed. Here's the newsletter. Are you feeling exhausted? Bone deep exhausted? There is a reason. Ever since I stepped off the corporate hamster wheel of get up and go, 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 and honored my soul's call to be a writer, I have allowed myself to sleep as late as my body wants. And I am often surprised by how much sleep she wants. On nights when I take dictation in the dark or have very intense mystical dreams, both of which are normal for me, I will sleep 10, occasionally even 11 hours. And I just sense that my body needs all that sleep to integrate whatever happened in the night, whether I understand or not. But this 47th week in the year of the body, my body has wanted more sleep than ever. 13 hours. 13 hours. I'm recording this on the 22nd, and this is now the fourth night in a row of 13 hours of sleep. But I think I know why. Last Monday, in our opening gathering for the Lotus and the Lily, Emma Kupu-Mitchell talked about the power of the full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus that we just all experienced on November 18th, 19th, and 20th. She said all lunar eclipses are profound, but this one is a birth canal. A birth canal that happens only once every 18.6 years, and then it lasts over an extended period. So she suggested we look back at what was happening in our lives 18.6 years ago between November of 2002 through December of 2004. So I did. And I was shocked at what I found. As I made a list in Deep Soul Writing of everything that happened in that window of time, anchored at the center of it was the death of my ex-husband on October 6th, 2003. And here he is. See, I don't get to show that to you in the written newsletter. I thought you would enjoy having him along with Joan of Arc and Hilda Moore join you in listening to this rather astonishing newsletter. So I made a list of everything that happened, anchored at the center with the death of my ex-husband in October of 2003, and I realized I was birthed into a writer during that time period. It was a long and very painful labor, but I came out on the other side a writer. During those months, I let go of everything that kept me seeing myself as a human resource consultant. I left an organizational development support group that I had been a very active member of when I realized one day while we were meeting, I'd rather be upstairs writing. I closed, this was, whoa, I closed my HR consulting bank account, even though I had no idea how I would be making a living. I ended relationships with people who would not see me as a writer. I started writing full time. I wasn't making any money doing it, but I was here at this desk writing every single day. And I started saying no to anything or anyone that prevented me from writing. A year later, a year after that window, I received an invitation to write a column for what was at that time the largest website dedicated to religion and spirituality. Unbeknownst to me, the associate publisher of Canary Press, Brenda Knight, was reading my columns, and one day she sent me an email, "We need to talk." And that led to the contract for Writing Down Your Soul. I was birthed into a writer under that lunar eclipse window. So that realization got me pretty excited about, well, let's look back another 18.6 years. Now you're in a window of the very tail end of 84 through the end of 86. Sure enough, it was a massive period of change that set me off on a very difficult path, but I see now necessary, to come face to face with the relentless evil of patriarchy and learn to say no. I left CNN, where I had created the most successful hiring program in all of television, a job I could so easily have kept for the rest of my life. I could be retired right now as a vice president of CNN, but I left. I left Atlanta and our really lovely, beautiful home to step into this totally unknown life in Florida. I became a headhunter, an incredibly difficult, soul-crushing career, but it was, I see now, a necessary path, a necessary part of the path to look patriarchy face to face fully. I had to be in it. I had to experience it. I couldn't be me talking now about participating in the demise of patriarchy if I hadn't swallowed patriarchy to the full. You could say I drank the Kool-Aid, damn near killed me. My husband had his first psychic breakdown during that time period. The precursor of a long, slow, painful decline into addiction that eventually killed him. And starting with that first episode, as time went on, that birth canal led me to slowly realize I have to find my own life. So that transitional period birthed me into becoming myself, learning to say no. This is the sign for no. This is the most sacred and most important word in your vocabulary. No, no, no. You can't talk to me that way. No, I'm not going to go there. No, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to go to the movie. No, I'm not going to go shopping. No. I also became a mother. I learned to seek a spiritual life and eventually get a divorce, all of which led me, you know the story in Writing Down Your Soul. If you don't, read the book. It all led me to discover deep soul writing. So 85, 86 was another humongous birth canal. So I decided, let's go back. So I looked back another 18.6 years. Now we're in 67, 68. And I actually started laughing. I'm doing all this in deep soul writing. I started giggling at how accurate these 18.6 year lunar eclipse windows really are. So what happened? in 67 to 68, I left my parents' home for college. I left my parents' radical right wing, it's hard to even say, radical right wing belief systems. When I got to college, Marquette in Wisconsin, I refused to join the Young Americans for Freedom. I refused to join the Young Republicans, and this pained my parents no end. One day, I screamed at a freshman boy in the library who recognized who I was, or much more accurately, who my father was, one of the original founders of the radical right, the John Birch Society. I grabbed this poor kid by the scruff of his collar, pulled him. I'm sort of ashamed to admit this, but it was also an essential moment in my life. So I pulled this poor kid nose to nose, and I screamed at him, "You don't know me. You never saw me. You will never, ever, ever acknowledge that you know me on this campus." And he never did. And finally, in that window of time, I left the Catholic Church. Talk about a birth canal. I gave birth to myself. As these memories all surfaced in Deep Soul Writing, I had a shocking realization that the young right-wing gun-toting boy who got away with murder this week was exactly the same age as the boy in the library. And he looked just like him too. That boy, then and now, is everything my parents would have wanted for me, and everything I somehow, thank you, Goddess, instinctively knew at 18 would kill me. If I hadn't gone through these 3 massive birth canals, if I had stayed small and scared and safe, spouting the political and religious indoctrination I was raised, I was ordered to spout, I would not have the life I have. I would not be who I am and who I came here to be. And I wouldn't be thrilled to be alive, doing the work I am here to do and reading my notes from the field newsletters to you. So I know what you're thinking. I started asking myself, well, what am I being birthed into right now? What am I being birthed into right now in this powerful lunar eclipse that's going to stretch all the way through, I think Emma said, the summer of 2023? I can't know the answer. I'm in the birth canal. You can't know the answer. You're in the birth canal. And the proof that I'm in the birth canal is I am utterly exhausted. I'm sleeping just like a baby, 13 hours or more. My big aha under this lunar eclipse is simply to trust the process, to know that my beloved mother, call her Sophia, call her Shekhinah, call her Our Lady, call her by whatever name you like, she is the one who is birthing me, and she knows what she's doing. She knew what she was doing all those other times. I can absolutely trust that she knows what she's doing this time. As I lay under the fullness of her eclipse on Friday morning, it was, I think, 3 a.m. here in the Eastern time zone in the Eastern United States. I laid there and I held my hands up to her and I said yes. Without knowing exactly what I'm saying yes to, but yes anyway, I said yes. I just laid there under her dark red moon non-light. And I felt very sweet. I felt very safe. And I just said yes, and then fell back into a long, very sweet sleep that lasted till noon. Now, maybe 18.6 years from now, when I'll be 91, I'll see the whole story. The whole incredible, wild adventure of this life in this body called Janet Cunner. All I can say from this vantage point, after looking back over these three profound birthings, is that I welcome the life that wants to be lived in and through and as me. And I am willing and happy to let go of anything standing in the way of growing into that fullness of me. And that's the process I'm in right now. I'm asking her, what needs to go? I celebrated this lunar eclipse by donating about 600 books to the local library. And I have several hundred more to go. And I have a garage full of kitchen things and clothes and other things to donate. So this is how I'm saying yes. I am letting go of everything in this house that doesn't bring me alive. Do you remember that David White line? Anything and anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you. It comes from a poem called Sweet Darkness. This little digression, by the way, is not in the newsletter. I get the biggest kick out of reading these because it becomes a little bit more of a conversation, and then you can see me go, oh, whoops, I've got to get back and read you what it actually says in the newsletter. And I'm trying to find my spot. All I can say from this vantage point, looking back over these three profound birthings, is I welcome the life that wants to be lived in and through and as me. And I'm happy to let go of anything that stands in the way. So now, you've heard my story. You've heard it here. Perhaps you read it in the actual newsletter, and you can click on the links below to subscribe to the newsletter or to join me on my professional Facebook page. I really invite you to pick up a pen, drop into deep soul writing, get out a calendar, and look back at how the Celestial Mother has been birthing you every 18.6 years, eclipse after eclipse after eclipse. And then whisper yes to she who is alive in awe, to she who knows who you are and who you came here to be, to she who sees the fullness of you in your body in this lifetime, whatever name that body carries. Just whisper yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, to the wonder and mystery of life unfolding in and through and as all of us. If you do want to join Lotus and Lily, and people are still subscribing now because it's not going to be available on demand as a lot of my intensives are. This is a very time specific. We're moving through the entire eclipse season. This wild lunar eclipse was just the opening. It was like the interlude. No, that's not the right word. The opening song, the overture. It was just the overture. The opera is going to continue through this entire eclipse season, and then the energy of it is going to continue because we all have to survive Pluto, right? It's going to continue through 2003 and 2004. We need to be together for this. And every single intensive I offer, and Emma will always be there giving us the celestial news, is going to be a way for a soul community to come together, hold hands around the world. We're all of us a global group. We're I think almost 100 in 12 countries now in the particular Lotus and Lily that's happening right now. So if you still wish to join us, everyone is invited. There are people that are subscribing today. But if you do only one thing, get some sleep. Take all the sleep you need. You're a baby. You're being birthed. Take a nap. And know that despite the chaos we see, and there's so much pain and chaos in the world, we are being asked, we are being birthed into a world where the anger and cruelty and suffering of patriarchy finally comes to an end. And I am thrilled to be a part of that. I hope you are too.